Move on. We got one more thing we're gonna talk about real quick. Glad you guys could be here to watch us. Is the next stadium on the RFK site? I heard there's a lot of positive news about them reopening this potentially. This whole conversation. Will, what are we hearing?
Yeah, there is a lot of momentum happening right now. So the quick backstory is the land was owned by the federal government. So that's when RFK, when the Redskins moved out, when DC United moved out, when the Nationals moved out, nothing could be there. You can't just tear it down and build something else, whatever you want, because it's not DC's property. Well, they've been kind of making some changes and saying we want to turn this over to DC and let DC take care of it. But the land also is deeded to only be for like recreational sporting event uses. So there's a lot of complications behind it. So in order to do that, you have to have Congress be the one to approve it. And in the spring, the House said, okay, we're ready to turn this over to the District of Columbia to do with it what they want, develop the land, work with the citizens. There's some opportunities, whether that be through the sports franchise or some other private investments, that we want to turn it over, give it to DC. It's been held up in the Senate, but 2 weeks ago, the Senate has passed it to say, like the Appropriations Committee or the Defense Committee has said, we are going to let this go through. So like the most recent is the Maryland and the Commanders were or Maryland, and I've already forgotten it, but the senators from Maryland were saying we need some of the National Guard in DC to become our property, basically our usage. The fighter jets is what they're looking for. And what this can be done is it can be tied to a defense spending bill. You're not just going to have Congress come in and to vote on should the land go to the District of Columbia. All of Congress is not going to come in and vote on it, but you can tie it into a larger bill, a defense spending bill, and utilizing the National Guard as a way to kind of tie it all up, make it all make sense. But it's looking really, really like there's a possibility this is going to go through. And what this now means is DC is now a player to be the next site or a potential site for the Commanders. And it's the site that all fans want to go back to.
Yep.
General consensus, it's the number one opportunity for the ownership. They recognize, the land there, the opportunities with Metro. It's all the momentum is going towards DC's ways. It could be a chance to continue to revitalize the city. I mean, that area is already growing really well as is. But it's there's all positives right now that it's going to be the next site.
Oh, I am all for that. I am absolutely all for that, man. That area, I think that'd be beautiful to bring it back to the nation's capital, man. You have the capital defense, the national defense, all those things that we used to do that were incorporated with it being in DC. And I just think, I think that'd be great for, like you said, obviously the community, but also just revitalizing the name. Is getting kind of, a lot more was taken when they changed us to the Washington football team. The picture, the name, the whole image was taken away. I mean, you'd already kind of taken it out when we left RFK, and we moved up to FedEx, all that good stuff, Northwest now. But it's like when the name changed and they took all that stuff, then it was kind of just like, who are we? Yes. It was kind of like we were the orphan kids for a couple of years, and then now and then the Commanders, and we're just like, we're adopted by this, but that's who it, and that's why so many people, just are glued to Redskins and that whole the logo and the whole nine. I think we need to have some kind of connection. We've talked about it so many times. With all this name change and everything, you need to bring all those fans that grew up with this stuff, that were during the Billy Kilmer, Sonny Jurgensen, Charlie Taylor days, George Allen, all those guys, and you have to pair them with these guys that have been around since just RG3 and just the Kirk Cousins era, and that's all they know. You have to bridge that gap because I think we need to have it where we're back to what was beautiful about all this stuff. We have to get out of this Dan Snyder, God, I'm embarrassed to be a Washington fan. Like, we need to be excited about it. And I think bringing it back to DC is something that will rejuvenate all of us. You know what I mean? It's just a great spot. I mean, I'd rather go to DC than Maryland anyway, but
Yeah, yeah, it's nostalgic. It's the fact that you remember going to RFK when you were going to see some great teams that beat Dallas, Janae.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that, but what Jared just said, the convenience is undeniable. One of the things you can get the iconic pictures of where you see the Washington Monument, the United States Capitol, and then RFK's in the background, and you could have those types of pictures again that are absolutely picturesque, and the convenience of RFK being the fact that you can take the metro right to it. I remember going to the not HF Festival; it was Shamrock Fest, would be held on the parking lots of RFK, and we took the metro. Then also, I'm like, oh, I remember this tunnel, I remember this walkway going up to Skins games and stuff. But that is a way to help fans get in and out. The problem with Northwest and FedEx is if you have to drive there. And so it's too many cars along with already the Beltway getting around. It's just too much to handle on a game day, whether it's coming in or going out. And it's just been an awful scene since the stadium was created. And this would be an opportunity to revitalize it. Plus, I think they'll be smart if the RFK site is chosen. The neighborhood doesn't want it, so it's not a done deal. But I think they certainly could incorporate some things. Football stadiums are no longer 8 events a year type venues. Right. They're made there to host more stuff, to build around it. Kind of like think about our area, make it a Reston Town Center type area around the place. That would convenience the community that for the residents that live around there, but then also make it an event location for game days.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Definitely be beneficial. And I'm here for it, man. I'm absolutely here for it. And now, going along with that, connection to the past, we've been talking about the potential logo, the potential of the return of the logo. No name, definitely not Redskins, but definitely there's been potential. Did they bring back the logo? How serious do you think that is?
It's really hard to tell. I mean, what the team has done here recently is tried to say if a player is from the era of the Redskins, we don't need to blur out the image, and they've kind of gone that way, and I think that's the right decision. There are some rumors going around that if they were to bring the logo back, it would be to sell merchandise that is able to then have proceeds go to the tribe and the family that created this logo actually that I'm wearing, today. And that, that's a win-win situation for them. And, they were saying that, hey, they haven't liked the fact that this is basically, it's been erased. It was retired. And they're like, that's something we saw for years. And we think of this was a logo of homage to one of their chiefs, their tribe chiefs. And so, their leaders. And so it was like, well, that got taken away. But these are all rumors. Nothing has come out publicly. The team has not put out any, official statement on it. So we don't know. We think that there's talks. We hear from reporters that there's talks of, conversations with the league about it. That, like you said, they've said it's not because they want to put the name Redskins back. It likely, for right now, which is I'm like, it does not mean they're putting it on the team's official gear. You're not going to see the logo at the midfield like it used to be, but could there be additional merchandise still sold? That seems to be the route they're going down for now. So that, there's something.
Yeah. And again, just something to kind of connect those from the past, those from the future. And even for some people that just have what you have, the Indian head on there. I'm not trying to be ashamed. If I get why they moved on from all that, but don't downplay me because I still have that old gear. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not throwing it away. I mean, it is what it is. I love my Redskin stuff. So, I respect, and I've had that conversation with people who are like, "Oh, really? You're wearing that?" And I was like, "Yeah." What do you mean? I'm not disrespecting. I can talk the history of it if you want to, like, and all this, like, but don't. I'm not gonna. This is my team. You know what I mean? Like, relax. Now, in certain environments, obviously, I wouldn't have that conversation, but in this particular one, it was like, yeah, get over yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty easy down here in South Carolina. They see my logo and be like, "Yeah, that should still be the case." It's pretty consensus.
I'm in politically correct Northern Virginia, so
yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, so hopefully they will. I mean, and like Jared was saying in the comments, man, it would definitely be a vibe. I mean, you got the whole DC area, you have, which they, like you said, they have been building up, and then the whole vibe. I just think it definitely be better to bring it back to DC as opposed to Landover, Maryland, going out
or
there.
even like Loudon, Virginia. It's
Dear
just too
God,
far out there.
Yeah, do not do that. Let's have Ashburn as Ashburn. We can go to DC for the game. So
exactly.
Absolutely.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is.